Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you are doing good in this pandemic situation and following all the instructions and regulations which have been set. I hope you are all healthy. I welcome all of you in this Pathshala. In this academic year, we are going to deal with the SSC subjects. Today, I'm going to start my class with the first chapter of your civics book. But before straightly moving to the class, I wanted to ask you something. Aren't you missing the school? Aren't you missing the classroom? Aren't you missing the playground? And I know your answer is yes, ma'am, I am. We are missing. And some of you whose favorite game is football, you people must be missing football a lot. You want to play football. Let us see a side example of this favorite game of yours, football, in association with the first chapter of your civics book, that is the Indian Constitution. Let's see.
In the given diagram which I have drawn for you, you can find 4 kids playing football. 2 kids are playing football with the help of their feet, and 2 kids in the diagram B are playing football with the help of their hands. But this is wrong. This is where it is wrong. Because in football, according to the rules of football, if the ball touches the arm of any player except the goalkeeper, then this is considered a foul. And if players start holding the football in their hands and passing it around, then they are not playing football anymore. Similarly, in other games also, hockey or cricket also have different type of rules according to which it is played. So here the diagram A has shown the correct form, and diagram B is showing which is leading towards foul. In the same way, we can say that in a society, there are some consecutive rules that make it different from other kind of societies. And in large societies in which different communities of people live together, these rules are formulated through consensus. And in modern countries, this consensus is usually available in written form. A written document in which we find such rules is called a constitution. Here in this diagram you can see it has been shown Constitution of India. That means it is the picture of the Constitution of India. What do you mean by Constitution? Constitution is a written set of rules by which the government rules our country or rules a country. It is the supreme law of the land. Okay, so this is the supreme law of the land. And you will be amazed to know this fact that Constitution of India is the longest written constitution in the world, and it mentions what to be done and what not to be done. It shows the laws and the orders which have been set for the citizens of the country. It is having all these laws and orders and all the decisions of what to do, what not to do, and also the rights of the citizens, the fundamental rights in the form of articles and clauses. And as I say, this is the longest written constitution in the world. Okay, here you see the picture of the Constituent Assembly of India. And what is a Constituent Assembly? Actually, it is an assembly where the popularly elected representatives, they assemble together for the purpose of drafting or adopting a constitution. Alright, and in India, the Constituent Assembly was actually formed on 6th December 1946. These things we have already done in class 6 and 7. It is just a recall to that chapter. And the Constitution of India was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26th of November 1949. Actually, in 1934, the Indian National Congress made the demand for a Constituent Assembly. And during the Second World War, this assertion for an independent Constituent Assembly formed only of Indians gained actually momentum. And this was convened in December 1946. Alright, so between December 1946 and November 1949, the Constituent Assembly drafted the Constitution for independent India, free from the British rule. Alright, but in 1947 we got independence, and after 2 years the Constitution of India was adopted. What all to be written and what is not to be written all was discussed within the span from 1946 to 1949. But it was actually made effective on 26 January 1950. Okay, that means Constitution of India was adopted on 26th of November 1949, but it became effective on 26 January 1950. All right. So now we know what do we celebrate on 26th January? Yes, we know on 26th January we celebrate Republic Day. Now you get it. Why do we celebrate Republic Day? Because it is the date on which our constitution got effective. We basically celebrate the effectiveness of the constitution. Now let us know who was the chairman of the drafting committee. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee in the Constituent Assembly. Actually, a country is usually made up of so many different communities of people, and they share so many different beliefs that they may not agree on necessarily on every issues. Thus, he tried to make a constitution which might help and serve all set of rules and principles that the persons in the country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. And for a democratic country like India, it was actually necessary to have a constitution. Now the picture you can see here, it has been shown that several citizens are standing in front of a country, and the country is India. Here it's actually an example of a democratic country. Means government by the people, government of the people, and government for the people. Actually, democratic country is a form of government in which people have the authority to choose their governing legislation. In India, people elect their own government through the system of universal adult franchise. What do you mean by that? Means when we attain the age of 18 years, we are allowed to vote. Okay, and we can choose our representatives like CM, PM of the country. Right, so this kind of a country is known as democratic country, and this kind of freedom is known as democracy. Who is our Prime Minister? Narendra Modi. And who is our CM of Tripura? It is Biplab Dev. We already know the names. Now carefully look at the picture. You will find out that there are ink marks on the four fingers shown in the diagram, isn't it? What is that? Have you ever seen anybody coming out of a vote? Coming out from a vote? Yes, if you have seen during elections, if somebody casts their vote for a proof, the ink is placed on the four fingers. You must have seen your mom or dad, right? And in this way, we actually elect our representatives in the government. Okay, so this kind of a country is known as democratic country. Now, why is it so much necessary to have constitution in a democratic country? Now, every democratic country might or might not have constitution, but definitely all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, because if we do not have any constitution, then people will like to follow things according to their freedom. And because here equality and freedom is given importance in the country, in any democratic country. Got it? So there occurs the need of making rules by which proper governance is made in the country, and constitution helps serve a set of rules and principles that all people can follow in a country. Okay, it also defines country's political system, because see, the representatives whom we are selecting, whom we are electing during the voting process, they are getting all the powers in order to run their government. But what if they do any sort of misuse of the power? So there in the constitution, it has also been a system of checks and balances which prevents the misuse of power vested in the government. Okay, and constitution also guarantees several fundamental rights to the citizens. Okay, because after all, democracy is by the people, of the people, and for the people, for which we have to understand that no injustice occur to any of the citizen Thus, protection of their fundamental right is necessary. And all these things are present in the Constitution in the form of several articles and clauses. So for now, this should be the class, and see you all in the next class with some other topics. And what you need to do is that you just go through the content of the lesson which I have given today, and I will be giving you some questions as homework. So do it and give it in the WhatsApp group, and also subscribe the channel so that you don't miss any classes, and wait for the other class. Thank you.